Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This afternoon we were about to go live, and I was about to go live and do a video about KUHN leaving Celtic and heading to Germany, but the news has just been broken by Celtic FC, and I've just put out the following statement, saying everyone at Celtic Football Club is deeply saddened at the news that the legendary Lisbon Lion John Clark passed away at the age of 84. John made his debut in 1959 and would go on to make over 300 appearances for the Hoops. His finest hour coming in the heat of Lisbon in May 1967, when he and his teammates wrote their names in European folklore to win the European Cup. By the time his player career had ended at Celtic Park had come to an end, John had won an incredible 6 league titles, 5 Leagues Cups, Scottish Cups and the European Cup. He left the club in 1971 and returned a few years later, taking the Celtic reserve side before linking up with Billy McNeill as his assistant manager. After joining success at the dugout, the former captain embarked on his own managerial career, taking charge of KUHN, Stranraer, Clyde. However, he wasn't finished at Celtic. John returned in the 1990s as kitman, a position that he held for over 2 decades. His love for the club was consistent throughout his life, and after leaving, speaking on the sad passing, Peter Lawwell said, "John's passing represents a massive loss to his own family and of course a huge loss to the Celtic family. He was a very dear friend and colleague. John gave his life to Celtic, both as a player and on our staff in a variety of roles. He contributed to our great club over so many decades." Brendan Rodgers said he reflected on today's sad news. Greatness is one word that John Clark is a fitting tribute to use that word. John was instrumental in delivering the greatest day ever, and his achievement is etched in Celtic history. When we look at John Clark, born March 13th, 1941, Chapel Hall, Bellshill, Lanarkshire. He joined Celtic in 1958 from Larkhall Thistle, aged 17. He made his debut in October 1959 in a 5-0 win versus Arbroath, Celtic's youngest ever side, at average 21-year-old then. He played as a wing half and later transitioned into a sweeper under Jock Stein, known as the Brush for his sweeping role, working alongside Billy McNeill. He made 182 league appearances, 316 in all competitions. As part of the famous Lisbon Lion team from 1967, he played an unbroken run of 140 matches for Celtic from 1965 to 1967. He only earned 4 caps for Scotland at the time. After retiring from the game, he obviously went to work in Fife and other positions. But he was a determined guy. He lost his father in an accident aged 10. His father worked in the mine. It was a tough upbringing, and I could, hats off to him, because my father and all my uncles were miners. The introduction to the Scottish Football Hall of Fame in 2017 was something that Chris Sutton tweeted at the time. What a man. Even Pelly spotted him in an elevator in New York. It's a sad day for Celtic. Brings down the curtain on another remarkable player, a remarkable person that has devoted so much time to Celtic over the years. Not just on the pitch, off the pitch. Functions around the country. Absolute legend of a man. Rest in peace, John Clark. 1941 to 2025. I switched it off, didn't I? Sick. Yeah, it's cool. I was speaking Spanish. I just went about a couple of minutes with no sound there. As I composed myself, I went about 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes without sound. I know, she does. I wasn't on a rant at all. Anyway, Nico KUHN, let's get back to Nico KUHN. Nico KUHN is a player that is, we need to go over it again. Nico KUHN is a player that Chris Sutton said a few days ago that he would have his doubts about Celtic managing to get 15 million for him. Now it's been suggested today that Nico KUHN is are Celtic and RB Leipzig are in advanced talks. Now, Chris Sutton said that Celtic would struggle to get the £15 million for him that they think he is worth. But he's a player that's in demand. When you look at, I think RB Leipzig would be his choice to go to, because it would see him have a greater chance of getting into the German national team, which was always his ambition and his goal. The German winner fingers the German winger finished the campaign with an impressive 21 goals, 15 assists in 51 matches last season. He did go off the boil towards the end of the season, and it's a nice little repeat. It's a nice little wad of cash, and it explains why Celtic are hell-bent on going out and getting wingers in. But it's a player that's obviously not happy, and on the day, I mean, the video was actually going to be about Nico KUHN just before I went to go live. Celtic obviously put up the news, the sad news that the man in the screen next to me, the utter unbelievable legend, such a humble guy, humble guy, and players like Nico KUHN could take a little bit out of his book. A guy that spent so much time. And it's a bit of a reminder to Celtic fans that players that come through the system, players that devote their life to Celtic, whether or not you think they're Celtic class, there's players at Celtic that get a lot of stick, and I'm sure if John was around at a time where social media was about, he would have got even more stick. But yeah, what a guy. Anyway, Nico KUHN. Back to the transfer talking. It is all about Nico KUHN. There's obviously the transfer speculation and everything else will die down from Celtic today as the world media and the national media and media from all around the world, let's face it, will talk about the tragic loss of another legendary Lisbon Lion. There are very few remaining Lisbon Lions, and I'm so glad that the ones that are still here did manage to see Celtic do the impossible again, win the 9 in a row, so that they can't boast up there with St. Peter, we done 9 in a row. Do you know that? But anyway, at 84, he's had a good innings, but it is sad news. And it was a fantastic piece that Celtic put out beforehand. And when it comes to Nico KUHN, I think everyone's thoughts are the same. Take the money and run. Take the money and run for Nico KUHN. He's a player that didn't achieve what he thought he could have the first when he first came into Celtic. It was remarkable the first half of last season. And then after the RB Leipzig game, when Celtic beat them, he didn't look the same. He didn't look the same, did he? He wasn't celebrating on the pitch the way. And I think that he knew then. He probably knew then that RB Leipzig were after him, because these things they're in the talk well before it. Caden says 15 million. Is Nicholson folded? We'll wait and see what the final outcome is for that one. John Clark, role model for all Celtic players, especially the academy. Yes, not just the academy. I think that when we look at players that currently devote so much time and so much of their life to Celtic, James Forrest, Callum McGregor, Stephen Welsh is getting stick last season, wanted to go out on loan. Tony Ralston, to name but a few. They're living the dream. I think we should maybe give them a little bit of a break. Anyway, that's been done and dusted for this afternoon version of the Celtic news. It is sad news for Celtic that at 84 the tributes will fly in for an amazing man, and it's been confirmed that John Clark, our old kitman, has passed away. Not just kitman, but he won the big cup and he brought it home.